Good morning, everyone. Ideas are discussed in classrooms but executed in the field. Likewise, today we have someone who has acquired knowledge and transferred the skill to develop an enterprise, an entrepreneur in true sense. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Debtonu Bormon, founder and CEO of Aqua Doctor Solutions and one-stop solution for all modern aquaculture. He likes to call himself an aquapreneur and is actively involved in training, mentoring, market linkage, project preparation, and lot more. So without any further delay, let me welcome Dr. Burmon for his talk on entrepreneurship development in the field of aquaculture.
Okay, very good morning to everyone. This is my proud privilege to be here with among everyone, and I believe all are from different sectors of faculty members. So consider myself, I'm a student of all of yours, but working in a field for a longer period of time in fisheries, basically. I turned into a professional career into now techno-commercial career, by which we have started our venture, these Aqua Doctor Solutions. Today, I'm very happy because I have invited to talk about something on how you can take fish or maybe fisheries or maybe aquaculture as a domain for entrepreneurship development, job opportunities for many people, and as well as socio-economic upliftment and the livelihood improvement in the rural areas of our country. We understand that fish plays a major role, especially for the place like West Bengal and the eastern region of India, because rice and fish are considered to be a staple food for many of these region, especially eastern and the northeastern states. And today, if you see, fishery sector is the way it's growing, the way it's booming, is considered to be the second largest sector after the IT sector in the world. So I will show you a presentations. I'll also talk about my story, how from a person become like a aqua doctor and I started the entrepreneurship. But before I start, I will just give a small brief introduction about myself. Myself, Debtonu Burmon. I'm basically from Tripura, northeastern part of India, and I did my professional studies in fishery science, and also I work in different countries as well as a researcher. Then I joined also government job in fisheries department in Tripura, but I left the government job within 3 months, and I understand that there's a huge demand for fisheries professional in the private sector of fisheries private sector in the country. Then I started my career into Cargill Animal Nutrition, which is basically deals with fish feed. Then I shifted down to fish medicines, and for last 2 years I have started my own company named Aqua Doctor Solution. Today this company is associated with Government of India, agencies like National Agriculture Management Institute, Hyderabad, NFDB, National Fisheries Development Board, Hyderabad, Government of India, and also this Aqua Doctor Solution is now a one word, one name, and one goal for all the aquapreneurs and the farmers of the country, because we supply one-stop solution in the country exclusively with technical training, technical human resource development, along with the farm productions, how farmers can get benefit out of the technical inputs, whatever they are using to it. So I have an office in Kolkata, in Jadavpur, and also I have offices in different parts of the country, and also we have offices in outside of the country, because we understand one thing, because this fish and the fishery sector needs more technical people to come forward in a longer period of time, so that this sector will have professional people will lead this industry into not only double the profit of the sector, I will say that 4 times fold of the sector profit should come from the people knowledge, people dedication, honesty, and their intervention together for sustainable innovation model. So let me start about my presentation. I will show how we can start aquapreneurship development through fisheries sector. I'll just take 2 more minutes time that presentation is loading up. And in the presentation, I will try to address how we can train people. We can give ideas to many young entrepreneurs or maybe young aspiring minds who wants to come into business, especially to the fisheries sector. I think yes. Now we are on the presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Is it visible, the screen, sir?
Yes,
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay, fine. So we can start now talking about the how we can take fisheries as a source of entrepreneurship, and those people take the fisheries as the entrepreneurship. Now today they call as the aquapreneurship. So let's talk about it. So I will talk about entrepreneurship development for fisheries and aquaculture. And if you consider today why fish is becoming a superfood, if you see the fish and its importance in nutrition, fish is rich in vitamin A, zinc, calcium, and iron. And today, if you talk about many of our health diseases, starting from brain child development till to a health aspects of many of the people regarding the heart, even doctors are prescribed fish as a source of nutrition, source of food, source of medicated food for our good health. So fish considered one to be a global superfood in the industry. And if you talk about in fisheries, especially to India, is a statistics from government of India. The GDP contribution fisheries itself in our Indian GDP is more than 1%, and average annual growth rate is 7%, and the fish production in 17-18 is almost 12.61 million metric ton. And if you consider our presence in the, globally, India is a second largest fish producer in the world, and the share of global fish production is 6.3%. We are just next to China. And if you see the export value is almost 50 crore, around 50,000 crore. But now Government of India come up with a one very good project called Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, by which government wants to increase that 50,000 crore into 1,000 crores. Let's see about that. And if you talk about the major states in India where the fish production is going on, is West Bengal almost 14%, AP 24%, Tamil Nadu 6%, Maharashtra 5%, Gujarat 7%. So almost the production is come from many culture states, and rest is coming from our marine sector as well. This is the Vision 2024 from Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. The concept is responsible and sustainable fisheries, then is for nutrition, growth, and doubling the incomes. So now government wants to increase the fisheries sector for three major objects. One is income generation part should be there. There should be a nutrition aspect by which we can control the malnutrition issues in the market, and also the growth in terms of the production, growth in terms of socio-economic upliftment, growth in terms of, you know, the people who are taking the fisheries as a entrepreneurship. They can grow and they have a good, better life in terms of other sector considered. So that's strategies by which Government of India want to be invest this 2,000 crores of money is on strategies like infrastructure modernization, traceability, production and productivity, post-harvest management, and quality control. And if you see how the critical gaps between the industries and the opportunities where we can intervene as a scientific community or the technical person in the industry, where we can intervene the fish production and the productivity. If you consider many of the states in India today, the fish production per capita, per hectare, or maybe the per acre, the production is not yet up to the mark which we have to get it. So there is a lots of lack is there during the production and the water area concerned. So that area we can intervene. Technology infusion, I will show you some examples by which small way also you can produce more good quality fish. Aquatic health management system. We do lots of fish production, but our aquatic health management system yet to develop. Like we have to have water soil quality testing lab at the production level. We should have the disease diagnostic lab at the farmers level. Modernization and the strengthening of the value chain.
Yeah.
Value chain means the products we are getting out from fish, like the fish pickle, fish popper, fish chips, fish cutlet. So those kind of value addition, and the end product from after fish get processing, that end product also should be converted into, you know, biodegradable products. Something like now people talk about biofertilizer from fish scale, fish waste and all. Then there is another sector which we need to be considered. It is seaweed or the bivalves or maybe the pulp productions in the sea, in the coastal areas, because seaweed today considered one of the easily digestible source of protein, and also is rich in lots of nutraceutical importance is also it have. And then another part is risk mitigation and the institutional credit. Like I understand also from the Adamas University side that now the university coming up also some startup projects. So the institution gives some sort of, you know, linkage or maybe financial support to the entrepreneurs, by which the entrepreneurs come up with their innovations as the end product at the last. Data network and the traceability is very important. Today, if you see the farmers, whatever they produce, a particular area or a particular zone or a particular state or a particular region, their data traceability part is very weak. So we can also address that part. Fishery management, regulatory framework, there should be some regulatory management system, and also you know, the live fish concept also come up visually in the market, because now people are more health conscious. They want like to eat live fish and they want to take it in a bigger way. this thing into a good quality fish should be reached to the end customers. So these are some of the areas where the opportunities lies for the industry. We need to be taken care and we have to be addressed in a longer period of time. I think I already explained this slide. And now let's talk about Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, which started now exclusively for fishery sector development, and any entrepreneurs or any person wants to come into fisheries, they can look for this kind of scheme, because this scheme is allocated for whole country. You can come up with different kind of projects. It may be hatchery, it may be fish production, it may be fish processing, it may be biofloc fish farming, it may be RAS, many kind of things you can come up. So this part, government also will give money to you, and also from your side also you'll get subsidy from Government of India. So these are the part where we can understand, we can take it in a longer period of time, because now government want to emphasize the sector more rapid growth in a longer period of time, so that the income which we can generate from fishery sector, it can be, we can able to harness the income very rapidly and sustainable way from this sector. So focus area for aquaculture solution, or maybe what we do, or maybe the things what you can also think to start up in your area as an entrepreneurship. I want to be focused some of the areas where we are also focusing now to give one shop, one stop solution to the farmers. One is fish or the prawn seeds. Seeds is very important for any production purpose. So we can come up with hatchery. We can even from hatchery to the end customer, we can make the supply chain for fish seed supply. Aqua input supplied like hormones, feeds, medicines, aerator, etc. Diversified aqua farming, I will talk about it next. Soil and water testing facilities in the farmers level. Reservoir cage farming, which is also now coming up in a very big dam area where we have very big reservoir of the lake. How we can go and produce more fish from the this reservoir, the lake. Ornamental fish farming, integrated fish farming, alternative farming models, I will talk about it. Biofloc fish farming, aquaponics, value-added products, market linkage. So market linkage between producer and consumer. There also we can start playing the sector as a very important role. And what we do basically, we have a scheme where we talk about and we train people on pond culture, biofloc tank setup, online technical service, live technical supports, online training program, field-based training program, farm and hatchery registration, lab testing, fish disease diagnosis. So all this part also we take care. So let's talk about one part of this sector where we can talk about and give more importance to the sector for the entrepreneurship development. One is seed nursing. As we understand that in fisheries, basically 5 parts are very important, and we call Panchatattva, or maybe the 5 fingers in the fisheries. Without that, we cannot go. One is good quality seed, one is good quality feed, one is good quality management, one is good quality health management, and also another is good, environment, the place where we are growing the fish. These 5 things are very important. Out of that, one is seed nursing. Many of the people today in West Bengal, because West Bengal produce almost 85% of seed what we produce in the whole country. So from West Bengal, the seeds are growing almost whole country. But if you see today in West Bengal, maybe we have say 100 number of hatcheries, but many people are involved into seed nursing business, that is more than 1,000 people. Okay, so hatchery is there, but seed grower, seed nursing, and the middlemen who are supply the seed from the end customer or the producer, the numbers are more higher. So seed nursing part also can be a part of, where we can put our energy, we can put our technical intervention, we can grow this our career or maybe the entrepreneurship aspect from this sector, from the seed nursing. Another aspect is aqua input supply. aqua input supply, like we need many things for the fish farming. One is fish medicines, we need fish aeration system, we need fish feeds, we need lots of chemicals for what fish, for the fish farming purpose we are using it. So those kind of outlets or those kind of aqua shop you can come up where you can provide farmers all kind of inputs at the ground level, so the farmers will get more inputs from your side, and that input farmer can use for farming things, and the farmer will also get benefit out of your system what you have. This is the feeds, different kind of feeds we have. First one is floating feeds, which float in the water, and second is the sinking feed, which goes down. Yes, this is a farm in West Bengal. Yes, then I talk about something like, diversified aquaculture models during my first discussion. Here we have to understand diversified aquaculture means from one pond, how many times in a year we can get our outputs or maybe the production. So if we stock bigger size of fish, say we talk about something like advanced yearling. So if we talk about this kind of size of fish and we can able to produce more than a kilo, more than 2 kilo, even in a short period of time, maybe within a period of 5 to 6 months, which this technology is adopted by Andhra Pradesh, and now this technology also adapted in many places in Hooghly and other places in Bardhaman as well. Okay, but in Bengal, if you see, if we are able to produce this particular size of fish also, there is a huge demand in the market. We called this fish as a charapona. Okay, so it depends on which market you are focusing. You are focusing bigger size of fish production, or you are focusing on the smaller size of the fish production. If you want to produce charapona, this kind of structure, or maybe the advanced yearling or the fingerling structure of this, so we can make our culture period 4 months. So we can go much more rotation. Maybe in a year we can produce 3 to 4 times even. Okay. Diversified fish farming. There is another fish called Amurkal. This fish grows in a 6-month period of a time, more than a year. This species basically from Hungarian variety, and for last few years it is culture in many places in India, and it shows a very wide range of temperature adaptability. Temperature adaptability, I mean to say that even in cold winter or maybe the cold waters we can grow it, even in the warm waters also we can grow it, and it has very good taste and very beautiful structure, and the growth in a 6 month of period of time we can have it a more than a kilo of the fish like that. There are some other fish like you people might heard about through newspaper today, like Manipuri ilish. So is called basically tangba. That fish also we can grow as a diversified fish farming, because it also have the very good taste like ilish, and people consider today Manipuri that tangba considered to be a Manipuri hilsa. And now in many areas, even in West Bengal, in the northeastern states, that fish also growing. Then another is scampi. Scampi is golda chingri. So that fish also we can grow in a monoculture system, or maybe we can grow even this scampi into polyculture system, where rohu, katla, all these fish also will be there, and bottom we can grow in a mixed percentage of scampi together. So we have to understand what our customer demands in our local markets about the fish, what kind of fish my customer wants to have it. Based on that, we can grow and different kind of fish species in a different period of time. Then another is high density catfish farming. Some are like desi singi, desi magur, pabda, tangra, all kind of fish. These fishes even we can grow in very small area, say 10 decimal, 15 decimal, 20 decimal, less than 100 decimal of water area also you can grow this kind of fish. This fish species considered as a air breathing fish. They have air breathing, accessory air breathing organ. From air they take the oxygen and they start there, like you can grow the culture period of a period of time, a short period of time. These catfishes, especially the singi, magur, pabda, tangra, considered as a very good source of minerals to our bodies. Even doctors nowadays prescribe this kind of fish to be eat more period of time compared to other fishes. Then another part is diversified fish farming is, chitala. If you talk about chital, maybe many of the places we are not able to find out that fish today, or many people not able to grow it in a bigger area because the technology is there, but we not able to take the technology in a scientific and profitable manner. Chital can be grown in a very bushy, or maybe there are the water quality is not so good, you have lots of vegetation in your water area, those kind of water area they like to be grown very much. So that kind of area we can think of, and we can grow particular fish for particular water area. There is another fish which now taking as a very big demand in the market as a hobbyist. And if you consider today in India, Howrah, especially the Howrah district, is considered to be the very mother hub of ornamental fish farming. This ornamental fish farming also we can grow in a short period of time, in a shorter duration, in a short space even. And this fish as a aquarium hobbies, we have lots of demands, and this ornamental fish sector now had very big demand for even domestic market and the international market for different kind of fish species. That also we can address. Then something is like alternative aquaculture, which I talk about. Something like by one product, we can grow some other product. Something like this. This azolla is considered to be a very good source of nitrogen fixing plant. This azolla we can grow in the ponds, and this azolla is very rich in nitrogen, and it's become as a good source of plant protein for the fishes like tilapia, fishes like carps. Even this azolla also can be converted with cow dung. We can produce biofertilizer, by which we can grow vegetation in our pond diet if we have a pond like this. Even this azolla also is considered as a food for ducks, and they consider to be a duckweed in English common name. So by one plant we can produce multiple kind of products with a sustainable manner. There are some fish species, might be you people know it, or maybe now we cannot find it even in nature. There is one fish called mola, and another fish is called Notopteris. Mola and the Notopteris in Bengali name called Foloi. So these fish species are, they produce the baby, or they lay the eggs in the nature itself. Okay, because they are self-reproducing fish, so it doesn't need to invest so much of seeds every year. So these fish got very good source of vitamin A and lots of important vitamins with minerals, and they have very big importance role in our nutrition. So these fish species also we can grow in a short small water area, and if you go in the market, this fish got very huge demand and got very good price, more than 400 to 500 rupees per kilo. Okay, this kind of fish also you can propagate with other fishes together even. Another concept is that is integrated farming, where you have a one pond, we are growing duck, you are growing chicken birds, you have pig, you have vegetation, you have cow, you have goat. So all kind of things are together, we are producing under one umbrella. So one output become another system input. So all things are recycled under one umbrella. So this kind of integrated model we can think of. And today in 21st century, where we talk about organic food, hygienic food, and the hygienic way of productions, there I believe if somebody is having land, they can come up with their own unit of like this. This is something, duck cum fish farming is one example of integration. Maybe it may be the integration with piggery, it may be integration with cow, many things you can also do. So this duck cum fish is very important and very profitable in the many parts of the eastern region, because egg, we have a very good demand for the duck egg, and these duck droppings or the litters, they act as a fertilizer to our fish in the pond, and ultimately they helps to produce, natural productivity, which we call as the plankton for the natural food for our fish. This is something interesting. I would like to say that aquatourism, people used to think about it, and nowadays it is getting very important play very important role in many areas in the country. Now people want to go out of city. They want to go and stay in village area or the rural areas where they want to grow, like they want to have, play angling, they want to catch fish, they want to cook themselves like that. So aquatourism, if somebody wants to think on, can even start within a tea garden, or maybe in a depression land, or maybe, a place where we have all this integrated farming model. There also we can come up with this kind of model of aquatourism. For organic fish farming, now people are talking about and think about is organic, how we can produce organic fish farming. There's another concept is vermicompost. Vermicompost we can produce and can use for agriculture purpose, as well as we can use for our fisheries purpose as well. Another aspect of organic fish farming is spirulina. Spirulina is considered to be the most easily available and digestible, more than 60% of protein it contains. So that spirulina also we can add in our farming model, or maybe we can start to produce it in a different way, or kind of a feed we can produce from the spirulina, can do the marketing for promotion of organic fish farming. Then this is indoor fish farming. If you want to grow fish, even in your balcony or maybe in your backyard kitchen garden somewhere, we can also do this of indoor fish farming. This is something like, tank-based fish farming. If somebody wants to grow fish, even in balcony, even in, say, considered to be in your garage, so you can have this kind of tanks, which is portable, foldable. You can take it anywhere you want. Okay, this kind of models also we can use for fish farming as well. This is something called cage farming. This is in a pond also we can do it. We can even do it into, big water areas like lake, reservoir and all. And these all are portable tanks, which we can, based on our needs, we can grow fish even in our small space of area. This is also a very traditional way doing cage farming in the pond and the lakes. Now, another concept is now growing for last 2 years in India. This is biofloc fish farming, and many people during the COVID situation, they have invested their energy, their money, their knowledge, everything into this. And this is a simple way by which we can produce more fishes in a shorter period of time in a small area without changing water. Okay. And this model is now more applicable even for women's empowerment also. I'll show you a picture. If anybody wants to come up with the women's empowerment, like where the women can take care of the household activities and also can give some spare some time for this kind of things also we can think of. And this biofloc fish farming is considered to be one of the most economical, viable, and live fish production unit. And we can sell fish by reducing many input costs. Like we doesn't require labor cost here much. It doesn't require maintenance cost much. So those part, even we have lots of social security, because in many areas we can observe that people do poaching, people do poisoning. So that part is we can be taken care of here in biofloc fish farming. And Aqua Doctor solution, we are for last 2 years we are extremely working on this, and we are working on pan-India basis on this promotion of this biofloc fish farming model for hatchery, for ornamental fish farming, for fish farming like singi, magur, koi, and all kind of fish farming also. Even if somebody wants to grow on a biofloc fish farming, they can use even tarpaulin tank or maybe the cemented tank even. Okay. Even this is a photo during the COVID situation. These 5 gentlemen, they are basically second year of college student. They have invested their money 5% together, and they have started also a biofloc fish farming last 8 months, and they successfully sold out one batch of fish even in 4 to 5 months period of time. So even if somebody wants to take it as a part-time promotion for earning some money also, they can take also this biofloc as a source of income. And some people wants to go very high density of fish farming in a pond base where you can use liner based system. This short maybe 10 to 15 decimal of water area. There even we can grow very high density of fish farming compared to pond. Yeah, this is the picture I want to show. Like even nowadays, women's empowerment are also going on through biofloc fish farming. So after their household activities, also they are now come into this business where they can earn some part-time they can consider biofloc as a part-time job for them as well for livelihood improvement. Then there is another concept is where we can grow fish and plants together. It's called aquaponics. Even if you just grow plants in water, that is called hydroponics. So now we are also trying to propagate this kind of model where we can produce fish, and the fish excreta, the waste which is rich in nitrogen, can be used for plant as a source of is a source of their requirement of nitrogen, phosphate, and we can from the wastewater we can produce high value vegetables, something like lettuce, something like cherry tomato, something like high value vegetables which got very good demand, and we can use this fish waste as a source of nutrients for our plants. And this is also we can do it with biofloc together. Even if somebody wants to do it in a rooftop, also we can do it very easily. And yeah, this is something also we want to tell you. Innovations is a key of any business success, and customer demand or the needs is the key for another aspects of business to be developed. So recently also we have launched a wall hanging aquarium, understanding the customer demands, because we always think like aquarium to be placed in a bigger place, we need very big area, or we need lots of maintenance of the aquarium. But now we have come up with a aquarium which we can even hang in the wall. It will be like something like a frame. So this kind of models also we can think on, and we can take it in forward directions. And those people wants to get more information on our Aquadoctor Solutions activity. We have a YouTube channel named Aquadoctor Solution. We also have a Facebook page in the name of Aquadoctor Solution, or even you can go to our web page and also can see about our activities. And we also have in Kolkata itself, we also have a Aqua One Center. It's called funded by Government of India. Here we do lots of water quality management. We do soil water testing. We try to identify disease diagnosis part also. That things also we do. So we also have a exclusive lab here in Kolkata. If anybody wants to get it, the service to be done, also they can get it from us. And also we do monthly basis lots of training program on biofloc, we on aquaponics, on hatchery, in breeding purpose, all this purpose. So anybody also wants to get the information about us on this aspect also can be connect to us. I think I'm almost end to my presentations. I'll just take a few more minutes. This gentleman is basically an IT software engineer from Bangalore. He used to earn every month 1.5K, 1.5 lakhs as a salary per month. And this gentleman, for last 5 years, he left his IT software Google job and now came into fisheries sector, hoping one goal that he can do wonders in fisheries or maybe aquaculture sector. Today, the gentleman is run more than 100 acres of fish farming area in Karnataka, in Bangalore, and they have a live fish retail outlets in Jayanagar in Bangalore itself. So every evening from 5 to 7, they sell only live fish from their own farm. So taking his consideration and taking his words, he's telling that I am happier than earlier, as now I know how to grow healthy fish. Okay. And this gentleman not only earning by himself, he also provide 10 people job today in his farm itself. So with these words, I like to address one point is that today fishery is considered to be the most important, most successful entrepreneurship development model, because fish considered to be the most easily digestible source of protein in the world, and fish is rich in lots of importance of health aspects. So today, if somebody wants to start into this sector, they can start into this sector or can take this sector also different dimension, as because we need lots of people to come into and improve the sector like cold storage, sector like value addition, sector like live fish selling counter in different parts of the state or the country. So that all these parts, if we take it together, I think the sector will grow with everyone's support, and we can also harness the benefit of the sector in terms of profit, in terms of money, in terms of new job opportunities, or maybe the job creator, and also is it better life and better nutrition in a longer, in a simple word. So I like to thanks once again. I think I have end my presentation here. So if anybody wants to ask me any questions, this session forum is open. You can please ask. Thank you so much.
Can I ask one question? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
For a very good presentation, first of all, definitely thanks. Can you tell me something about genetically modified fish extract? I read a portion in Google recently that there are some genetical experiments are done in pituitary extracts or something else. What are the development in genetically modified fish extract? Some aspects of this question.
Okay. Very good question, madam. I like to address here that GMOs is not yet applicable in fisheries or aquaculture sector, but we are taking something, biotechnological, improved biotechnological tools for better management practice, something like, fish breeding hormone, with the way you are explaining from pituitary gland, we are extracting salmon gonadotropin releasing hormone, and we are adding dompeptidone, and we are trying to make a fish inducing breeding hormone. Those kind of research needs to be worked out. Even now people talk about something, HCG, which comes from, from a pregnant lady. Okay, so those kind of works need to be worked out, because still there are many products available like this inducing breeding hormone in the market, but lots of products also coming on pipeline. This is one part. Second part is something about fish species, extra growth. Now people talk about, I need my fish to be grow very fast. I need something to be added, maybe in terms of feed supplement, in terms of maybe genetically improve. So you might be heard about, there is a fish called gift tilapia, genetically improved farm tilapia. So that kind of research also now going on, where we are trying to identify better fish species, better growth within the same genera, and try to propagate them with different kind of generation and the different type of breeding and the trial and errors. That kind of also research is going on in different places, but the results yet to be come to the farmers field, madam.
And are these species, genetically modified species, are going to be commercially available and usable?
GMO's fish, as I told you, by mentioning the name of GMO's fish is not yet there in India, but there are GMO's ornamental fishes are available in the Taiwan and Japan and all, but not yet that kind of research has been done on ornamental fish. Maybe there is a open door research, things are left. We can work out on that also.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, now this platform is open to take questions. If any one of you have any questions, you can interact with Mr. Varman. I request all the participants, all the audience, if you have any question, don't hesitate, please ask. Mr. Varman, thank you for this enlightening presentation. So,
I have a question.
okay, please go ahead.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
go
sir,
ahead.
yes, please.
Okay. Yes, sir. It was a very nice talk from Mr. Bodmore, and myself also. I am involved in fish biology, and I have also done my research. So in fish disease mostly. So it was very enlightening and encouraging also. I just want to ask one question. You said that for disease diagnostics also, you work on that aspect also. But actually, what kind of disease? Actually, I want to know that you are addressing all kinds of disease like parasitic disease, viral, bacteria, all, or any particular branch of disease you are associated with.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Paul. Actually, right now we are working mostly on fish, and in fish we didn't see any kind of viral diseases, but there are more bacterial, fungal, and parasitical diseases are there. Parasitic is something like Argulas, Larnia, all kind of disease.
Yes.
And I like to tell you, in West Bengal itself, and parasitic disease is the major one. If you go any kind of intensified model farming system like Midnapur, East Midnapur, Moina, Rajnagar, Ramtarak, Pingla, Shobong, all this area, if you go somewhere even Hooghly, all these areas where the intensified fish farming or the carp farming going on, there's a huge problem of such kind of things. Maybe now researcher like you who are into there in the institute, or you are into lab, now this is for you how you can something biological control way of control parasitical disease. Like if you see in Japan, people use some particular fish to clean some other fish parasitics, right? But
Yes,
we can also think something like that. See, for me, basically I have a limitation because now I am become more entrepreneur, so I cannot think myself into more research. Though, but I came from professional field into marketing field, so I'm now become more techno commercial guy. I can tell you what customer needs, what customer wants to have in the long-term way. So that kind of research, if you come up, I think it will be very beneficial, not only for the industry, it will be beneficial for the whole country.
Yes, that's the main problem. Lots of research is going on, but those are not actually reaching the farmers. That goes to publication and it ends in the laboratory table itself.
We also have to understand one thing, Dr. Paul, that most of our research is not farmer oriented research. Most of
Yes.
our research is more on lab-based research. Whenever we go and see, if you see the lab-based research which is implemented in the farmers field is only 20%. But if you go the country like USA, country like European Union, there you will see all the research more on practical field. That model you
Yes.
can utilize, maybe Vietnam, you can take it even to Belgium, you can start doing it with some
Yes. Yes.
parameter of consideration. So I think this is a good platform. I like to thanks to the organizing committee, because for me also is very proud privilege to be here and interacting with you people, because your intervention is our innovation and our product. Okay, so we want to take you also joint kind of research work, or maybe any work which we can come up together for as a ending up with some particular good product. We are also looking forward to it.
Yes. Yes. The bridging gap between the laboratory and the farm can be done by the entrepreneurs like you are doing. So very interesting, and we will like to join with you if you can sort out a pilot project or something like that. Then it will be very much happy. I will be happy.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there any question from the participant? Any
Yeah,
other? Yes.
yeah. I have a question. First, let me tell it's really a very informative talk, Mr. Burman.
Thank you.
Just a question is, as a layman, I'm asking, what is basically the composition of fish feed? Because I have learned that fish feed nowadays is a very good entrepreneur work in field of aquaculture. So can you just highlight, besides spirulina, you have showed that, is there any other composition of fish feed, or can we think of a better fish feed in this aquaculture part?
Yeah, very good question, madam. First of all, I like to tell you, feed considered to be the most important part of input cost in fish farming today. Okay, so it almost consider 40 to 50% of your investment, what you are going to do as a input cost. And in commercially, what the fish feed is today available in the market, most of them are formulated feed. So formulation comes from the raw ingredients which is locally available, something like carbon source, something from protein source, some lipid source. So if I just make out some of the ingredients name, that will be much more clear for you. Something like DORB, de-oiled rice bran, broken rice, maize, then you have fish meal, then you have some fish oil, then you have soybean, then we have different kind of products which locally available, and the formulator who designed the formulation based on the fish protein requirement. Basically the carps, rohu, katla, mrigal, all these fish, they need almost 25 to 30% of protein as a dietary energy for them, and for other catfishes they need more than 30% even. So based on that we have to work out. And now today as we know that fish meal is a very limiting resource we have now in fish meal. So now people are talking about something alternative source of feed. Something
Okay,
like,
just I want to interrupt. So you mean for different fish culture, you should give different formulation of feed?
yes. Yes. And also now people talk about something alternative fish feed, something like the protein which we can extract from some plants, and that plant protein can be added to fish feed preparation. That's research also now going on with many fisheries research institutes. So I hope in coming days, like I show in even that Azolla, then there are lots of duckweeds are there which grow in the nature, small plants. They are now farmers are feeding them as an alternative source of food or alternative source of feed to the fish. So that kind of research many places are going on. I think based on our industry demand, maybe somebody can think of, okay, the locally available resources, how we can come up with cheapest source of fish feed for our farmers. That's also a part of innovation can be done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You, sir.
I just want to ask one thing about fish feed. have you thought about implementing the probiotics aspect in fish feed yet?
Dr. Pal, the part of this probiotic to be added in fish feed is happening, okay? But
Yes.
if you consider about to be the source of protein, like single cell protein, lots of people talk about, lots of paper if you find in Google, but till today, can anybody tell me there is a commercial fish feed of single cell protein?
Yes, that is the main problem I'm saying, from the last time also I told.
So
So-
I will say that I am a farmer, you are also a farmer. Think on farmer direction, which we can design on farmer area itself with a low cost model that will survive or sustain this industry for a longer period of time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any question from the participants? If not, then Mr. Borman, being I consider myself as a layman because this is very interesting, really very interesting. Your talk and so much of information you have covered, so many fields. And being a layman, I have understood so many things. So thanks for your information, for the information you have shared. But basically I'm attracted to the words you have you are using. One is Aqua Doctor Solution, and the second one is one stop. Okay, so this is indeed very catchy. So just consider that if I'm a farmer, if I'm a layman, and I'm not at all educated one, so how could I approach? Means if I have interest, if I can start as if I can run this just like an entrepreneur. So in which field I can choose? This is my first question, and my second question is, so as you said, the government of India is promoting empowerment, women empowerment, then farmers also, mostly into the rural villages. So if you wish to bring the technically sound person, you know that government of India is also promoting artificial intelligence. So how could you utilize artificial intelligence to actually develop a sustainable aquaculture? Because coming from the question of Dr. Pal, just bringing this sustainable aquaculture system, so how could you apply this artificial intelligence here? This is my
First question was from your farmer side. Second question was your IT side. Okay, yes. So you asked two questions from one layman to smart man.
Yes.
So let me address it. So first question was, if you want to start something on fisheries, first you try to understand your capability, your work schedule, how much work, how much time you are going to invest, what kind of things you have interest inside. Don't invest your whole energy into 10 idea and 10 business. Invest only one. Today, Aqua Doctor Solution come up only for one reason, one shop, one stop. Why I work with beginning myself into fish feed, then fish medicine, then fish hatchery. Then I have understand, okay, so these are my capability, or this is my network by which I can say farmer, I am a one shop, one stop solution. So first intervene yourself, one sector which you like, which you have desire, explore it. And I will tell you, biological field, we need to invest more time, and you should have lots of patience. If you invest money today, you ask for money for tomorrow, it will not come. Your patience will make money in a longer period of time with lots of interest of your money and your time. Okay, this was the first question. Second question was, yes, now AI technologies are involved into fisheries, but not in a very larger scale. Something like, I have a 100-acre of a big pond. I want to spread up the medicines, but for that I have to involve maybe 10 to 15% to go around my whole pond with boat. But now with drone, we can spread even the water and the medicine in such a way that it will be spread all over the water surface. Something like, I like to tell you, like something, aeration system. Now we are giving medicine directly to the aeration system. That medicine going with the aeration system to the system, and it's spread all over the pond with a particular period of time. AI systems are now much more, critical parts of innovations, where in biofloc fish farming, there are pH changes are there. Dissolved oxygen changes are there day and night. So that changes, if it goes down even. Some people shown me from a software guy only, there is a mobile vibration, it's there already itself. If the this water quality parameters goes down, which is not acceptable for the farming model. So AI systems are getting nowadays very important parts, and another parts of intervention, the innovation is the app-based service. App. So you have fish, or you have maybe fish disease. So that disease should come to the consultant like us or many other institute. So that kind of app-based models are also now coming up, where farmer can send their problems, farmer can address, or farmer can talk about their problems with a very precise way. Something also, now we are also thinking in coming days to come up with on-call doctor service, something like now human sector. So you have doctors which can directly address your problem on call with a nominal fee. So this sector is very, I should say, very brilliant and very big. Okay, very big. When I start my career in fisheries sector, I want to be a doctor from human. But luckily I came to this sector, and today now people give me the same respect of a human doctor if I go to a field. Okay, so your job, your responsibility, your service, your work, your dedication, your hard work can bring the changes in the sector, and by this only we can flourish the sector with everyone's support in a longer period of time.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Barwan.
I just want to tell one thing, that you have mentioned the app-based service. I have last year I went to a conference in CIFA, organized by CIFA. There I have listened one scientist told about that thing, that the water quality parameters and all these, and they have set certain algorithms, and with that they are having that same thing, that the farmer nowadays, most of the farmers are using phones and smartphones and like that. So those things are just coming to their phone message as a message or something like that, that they're showing that the pH down, the biological oxygen demand, or something like that. So that is one thing related with artificial intelligence. So these things are, yes, right. You are telling rightly that these are coming up. These are large prospects also.
Okay, is there any other question? I request all the participants, if you have any other question, you can unmute yourself. Okay, yeah, I don't think that not such questions are there. So thanks again, Mr. Barman, for indeed an enlightening presentation, and also the discussion, and that the question and answer, the discussion is actually proving that how interesting the topic is, and we are grateful for the time and the effort you took to share your thoughts, your experience, and thanks again. So definitely we can come up with some assignment in future. Definitely Adamas University will definitely look for that, and I think that you will definitely extend your hand if for any support. So thank you again. Thanks for joining.
So much. And I wish, like in coming days, maybe we have, I think, 23 or 29 people in this here, and most of them are into teaching profession, into faculty things. I hope from your service, this industry will get some more young generation people like me, so that we can grow all together this sector in a bigger way. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time, and thanks for participating in this session as well. Thank you so much. Good day.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, thank you. So I would request all the participants, probably Dr. Chatterjee has already intimated you all that our next session will start from 2:30 instead of 2 p.m. Okay, thanks for joining.